Boop. That will probably fix it, I hope. Test, test, test. There we go. Close. All right. We're back again. Yeah, same. I don't know what is going on here with my audio stuff just going all over the place, but yeah, it is what it is. So, let's draw some rugbies. Welcome back, everybody. It's September 29th, I think. Yep, it's the 29th. We're doing the free draw and the viewer suggestion. I'm going to warm up with a few rugby sketches, and then we're going to draw a Mushroom Cleric and a... what type of Genasi? Mr. Sai. Genasi is a subclass. Yeah. Orc Barbarian. No, Pork Barbarian. An Ice Genasi. It was the Gremlins. Yeah, they've been getting me. I gotta put more bells up. Gotta put up more bells. I've been drawing so much rugby lately. No, I don't think it's too much. I think it's just a lot. It tends to happen when you do animation, though, because you'll draw the same thing like 1,000 times. Well, yeah. It definitely is monotonous. But that's how you get animations. Let's get this little rugby set up. That's no good. Rugby gives me Stitch vibes. Yeah, that's totally fine. Stitch is great. Invader Zim is great. Basically, anything with its head is like 90% of its body. Gur, yep, just Pathfinder goblins in general. You know, Bert or Ernie, I guess. Elmo. Kermit the Frog. Any Muppet-like creature is going to give off those vibes. I dig it. I usually draw goblins by drawing puppets and then giving them limbs. Is my general go-to. Gotcha. Let's see, what can I do to this rug? Solidify it. There we go. I'll give him a big old Buster Sword. 7 playing too much Final Fantasy. We'll give him one shoulder pad. We'll make his hair a little spikier. There we go. It's a cloud rugby. Hope everybody's doing all right today. Hope everyone's having a good time. Pretty slow. That's good. Slow days are good. do not like mowing the yard. Ah, let's get some sketches going. Mushroom Cleric. Rook, my doctor said my knees and ankles clicking are normal as I'm crouching all day. Ugh. Yuck. Yuck. That's no good. I hope they gave you some kind of like knee brace or something to help you get through the day. Because that's rough. It's rough, and I feel for you. But. Okay, Mushroom Cleric. I went out and I chopped wood yesterday for about an hour. So, yep, I know, Corvus. That's something else you have to deal with too. But like, I don't know. It felt really good because that was the first time I'd like been outside in a while. Oh, you have a hydraulic wood splitter? You're a cheater. That's what but I'm sure you do a lot more wood than I do. Fancy human. Yeah. Rugby size are hard to draw. I'll post a picture of the reference to cat. I have some pretty huge. I'll do that later. I don't know where my phone is right now. There it is. Muffins. Yep, we got muffins yesterday. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about the cherry bread. It's actually pretty good. It was really good, to be honest. But it was good. Yeah, I don't know. No, it was just not great for my. It was really sweet. I'm not supposed to eat that many cherries and stuff, so. No, it's okay. There you go. It was really good. I don't know why I said it like that. I was trying to be funny, and then I realized that the bread was fine. But no, it's the same thing. Like whenever we get cookies, whenever we make cookies, I love cookies, but I should not eat cookies. And so I'll eat all of the cookies, and then like all of my joints are just like, hey, guess what? You can't walk now. It's like, fuck. What have I done? So no, cookies are great. Yeah, and that was effectively giant cookies, which was awesome. No, I went out there yesterday, and I decided not to use the splitter because I have like a splitter, a wedge that I usually crack all those up with. And I was like, I'm just gonna fucking hit these things. Worked out fine because they're about 2 years old now, so they're good and dry. And I just went to town with it, and my body is aching, and I love it because I have not been able to do that for a while. But I got a nice big old splinter like right in one of my drawing fingers, so that's fun. Yeah, no, I should wear gloves. And then I got the yeah, I'll bust out the gloves if I'm doing a lot. But since that was just that one, I should have busted out the gloves. And then I ended up dropping one of the logs onto my shin, which was fun. So now I got a big old bruise. You know what? And that's okay. It happens. Yeah. I wrote it down. It was the fancy. Sorry, I just didn't say it. Fancy human enchantment wizard with a glaive, maybe? Imagine someone getting polymorphed into a rugby. People would be thinking, look at that cute little creature when he's screaming for help. Hardtack cookies. Why would they be screaming for... I mean, it's just a goblin. Why would people be panicking about a goblin? Can you? I don't think you can polymorph people into a goblin, can you? I don't know. Maybe true polymorph? Baneful Polymorph? I don't know what that one does. Ah. I don't need an ear here. I need a mushroom. Mushrooms! Aren't all polymorphs against other people as well if you cast them on an enemy? Yeah. Like, Control Monster, I always thought was really funny, because I'm like, that's very subjective. Like, because you have, what is it? It's Suggestion, Command, and then Command Monster, and then, like, all of them just seem like evil spells, and it's just kind of like justifying, like, this is totally fine. It's like, it's not, though. It's not. Yeah. Enchantment's pretty good. Yeah, 5th edition took a lot of that stuff out, I think, because of the... a lot of the spells are... Yeah, they're it's one, really powerful, and two, kind of game... they're based a lot on the DM. Like, you have to do a lot of... There's 5th edition likes to be able to let the rule lawyers have some control. Like, they tried really hard to specify things, and with a lot of those, it's just like, command the creature to do one of these 5 things that could be anything. And it's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that. Do you have a favorite fungus? I don't. I really don't. Maybe... I like a good, like, cremini button mushroom for spaghetti, I suppose. Wouldn't they exist since people would create restrictions on magic or use in villages and stuff? Would what exist? Goblins? Are we saying the goblins would exist? I mean, I guess. I mean, that's kind of the whole argument with necromancy, right? Like, where all the curses in Harry Potter. Like, you could definitely have restrictions on magic. I don't see why that's a problem. I guess I don't understand what do you mean by restriction on it? Because if it's just like, and I kind of don't understand the premise of the conversation either. Okay, I see what you're saying. So wouldn't the act of teaching the spell to somebody, you wouldn't teach them how to control people. You teach them how to control monsters. Yes, I see that in... Once again, it's just subjective, though. like what is the difference between controlling a goblin or an orc versus, a unicorn? It's like, well, this one's for humanoids. It's okay. Okay, cool. So evil humanoids can't be controlled by that spell. So it should be control humanoid then, or control creature, which they have some of those stipulations, which is fine. Right. So, I mean, it's okay. I don't see why those have to be different level spells. I guess that's my thing. They're all just kind of, I guess that's subjective. Who knows? Yeah. What's the other one? The like, the French, I guess, friend on them. It's just a stupid spell. Oh yeah. Like, what if you? I mean, think about it in real life, right? You're using magic to basically convince somebody to give you a ride to the mall, and then you get to the mall and you're okay, bye, and then that's it. And it's just like, fuck you, man. Like, why did I? It's not cool. Right, and there's a reason for that though, and that I think people don't quite realize is that the way like intimidation and persuasion works is usually originally was based off of levels of hostility. So, and if something is hostile towards you, you can't make those checks. Period. And so that's why I always think it's funny when people are just like, I see an angry deer and I'm going to befriend it, and it's like, well, it wants to kill you, so no. Or right, yeah, and same thing, like, I'm going to seduce the dragon. Like, is the dragon even in a position where a seduction roll would be applicable? Most of the time, no. But so the spell says the creature becomes more friendly to you. So if something is hostile, boop, and then it's like, oh, wait, why are we fighting? And then you can make that roll. That's what that spell is for. It's to allow rolls, but people just use it for like, you're going to give me that sword. Of course, you're my best friend. And it's like, it's not a free roll. It should be used to allow rolls. Right. Charm person, same thing. It's just like, yeah. It's a cantrip to where if you have a moment to de-escalate a situation to allow a roll, that's great. But they're gonna know that you charmed them. Like that's the downside to it. Yeah, enchantment wizards are definitely. I think intelligence is one thing, but you need to be able to sell your illusion, right? Like that's the whole premise of magic. So. Mushroom. Orc barbarian. And then the ice genasi. Yep. Illusion Wizard is pretty fun. Swedish chanterelles are pretty good. Oh, it's still mushrooms. Still talking about mushrooms. Mer. We are the orcs. Should we make him super big? Just Jamongo orc. We are doing the free draw, so if anybody in chat would like to join us, there's a link in the Discord. We're also just hanging out in Discord if you want to join in the conversation, not through text. But if you do text, that's fine, and I will read it out. get some sweet orc muscles in here. Big beefy boy. I almost think this axe needs to be bigger. This orc might be too big. Like I tried to do something that was too silly. Yeah, he's got some mutagens. I don't know if you guys have read the Rat Queen comic or not, but I like the way they draw the orcs. It's really, really good. I think they actually switched artists a few years back, so I don't know if I've seen the new stuff yet. Oh yeah, that Raven painting was great. If you haven't checked out Sierra's stuff over on Twitch, I would highly suggest it. It's really good. She's over there playing games, making art. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm struggling to play games on stream. It's just not. I don't know if it's because I've been doing too much art or what, but. Yeah. Ooh, can I give him like, oh yeah, we'll give him give him like a big old mullet. I guess Conan has bangs, doesn't he? He has long hair and bangs. Just like, meh. I need to draw more hairstyles. Like I need to sit down and practice and do hair, different hair studies. Something I wanna work on. Maybe we'll do that another day. Get those big meaty muscles in here. Trying to get better at abs too, because it's not something that I draw a lot of. Abs are super weird. They're kind of slanty and weirdly shaped. It's like, how do you work? How do you attach to things? Yeah. I'm pretty sure they got greenlit for 4 or 5 seasons of it. Or maybe it might have been that they got season 3 of the show and then they were going to do a few seasons of an animated series as well. I think that was it. Yeah, I'm excited. Witcher, I think, is going to be a cool series to see how they expand on it. I've seen that on Netflix. I haven't watched it, though. Gotcha. Work with the long hair. And then axes. All right, we need to make some axes here. Thrall? Yeah. Orc Jesus? Yeah. Thrall was supposed to be like the most human orc, which is kind of weird. I liked, what the hell's his name? Well, Rexar wasn't really a... Is it Rexar? Rexar is just like orc Batman, but with animals. Yeah, he was a hunter. That's much too big. Give him a big old skull belt. Spike on the top of the axe. Let's move it over a little bit so we can draw this. Draw this axe properly. Big old bearded axe. Like that. Doobie 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 doo 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 doo. Ah da 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 da. Hold on a second here. Stream. What does YouTube suggest I put this at? 45? Let's see what happens if I do that. See if that fixes the bitrate issue. Hopefully that will make it look better. Warning, warning, warning. Whatever. All right, we're gonna keep going. All right, let's draw some ice genasi. There we go. Yep. Draw some Necromancer. What's creepy? Gotcha. This is like a sorcerer necromancer. They're wearing baggy sleeves. Sleeveless robe and monk style pants. Who do we got drawn over here? Raptor Trap. I like the art I'm seeing. It's looking pretty good. Got a centaur happening. A deer centaur. A beer. Not sure how I'm going to make this a necromancer per se. So give him a big old onyx skull so we can cast Animate Dead. Do a big old belt. And now he's got a backpack. Doing pretty good. Welcome to the chat. Centaur but deer. Servitor? Is that a real name? I guess so, yeah. I can see that being a... Is that what you call a deer? I don't know. Then again, I don't know why they call centaur centaur. Somebody posted somewhere yesterday, like, centaurs have 2 rib cages, deal with it. And I was like, okay. Like, you're not wrong. Yeah, the ancient Greeks, when they just sat down and invented the centaurs with their alchemy and their evil magics. and their playwrights. No, I don't believe the rib cages are connected. That would make them a snake. Yeah, that would make them a giant snake. The rib cages were connected. Yeah, that is another weird thing. I would assume yes. Yeah, because I mean, like, just to get the blood pumping. Yeah, I would assume too. Yeah, what's the thing with giraffes? Like, they can't put their head down because they can't get the blood pump to them for too long. Effectively, they have to hold their breath when they put their heads down to get water. They also have basically like service station pumps in their neck. So biology. I think giraffes are, yeah, 2 stories. So that's like 20 feet. 20 feet tall. That's pretty big. What were we talking about? Horse are genetically designed to be super fast, but always trying to, like, their legs are trying to kill themselves. Yep, they can't turn. I would assume that the benefits of having 2 bodies are more or less the heart can take up a large amount of space without interfering because the rest of the organs can go elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, first off, like, this would never evolve this way. so I think we have to. I think when you're thinking about, like, the biology of magical creatures, maybe it doesn't matter. Like, maybe it's okay to just have it one way or the other. If you want to go for the biology of it, like, how much blood is there in a human torso compared to a horse's head? That's the real question, and then go mathematically up from there. But the like I mean, cows have 4 stomachs, so multiple organs needed, sure. Dinosaurs had two brains. I don't think that's actually true. Tail brains, hind brains. Something about, I mean, look at whales, right? Whales have hearts the size of small cars. They also have fingers. Well, they're mammals. Bats have fingers. What now? What are the things you... Wait, what is this you're drawing? Jack, I'm drawing an Ice Genasi Necromancer. And I think I think we had a Diratar over here that I think Tinksel drew.
The gods that created them probably just decided that shapes and did go into their exact biology.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we just said. So I think it's less a matter of needing to know. There's a Saturday Night Live skit from years ago. Will Ferrell, I think, is a centaur. I'm not gonna go through the whole skit, but basically it's like it's all about whether or not you would bang a horse as a centaur, and they're like, no. They're like, well. It's a funny skit. It's probably not appropriate anymore, but in the 80s, it was real funny. Yeah. It's a joke about perception, I guess. Does it matter? Like, when is a horse and when is a horse a centaur? Is like how much of the biology of a horse is still, or is a centaur is actually a horse, or is a centaur a separate creature? That's the question. Like, are you a horse monster, or just is a centaur so separate that it's no longer a horse? Plus, Will Ferrell funny. Is Will Ferrell big? Is he a tall dude? I know Conan O'Brien's super tall, which I always think is funny. Yeah, he's a... It's because you only ever see him from, like, the waist up. And then you see him next to, like, normal stuff, and you're like, damn, Conan O'Brien, you tall. Yeah, Shaq, same thing. He's big man. He's big man. Aggie's headed to freeze up on me, so I think I'll switch over to the stream. No problem. No problem. Oh, yeah. What do we got here? Fancy human with a glaive. Adding weapons and shit. What was the other part of that? There's a fancy human enchanter. Okay. Manipulative wizard. Lots of hip thrusts then. Hi, Mr. Nimbus. He controls the police. I control them. New? I released the little kobold animation I did the other day, yesterday. And then, yeah. This will be out, and then hopefully I'll have another video on Friday. That's my intent. I did, yeah. I'm trying to do one video a week now. Trying to, which I've been able to do so far. This week might be a little... Yeah, Pathfinder video, which did not perform as well as I'd hoped. The Pathfinder monster video. Yeah. It's just, people just don't see it. There's not a lot. And so I've tried to do a few Pathfinder videos in the past, but I've been looking at my analytics and like people just aren't searching for Pathfinder. A few people are looking for like Pathfinder 2nd edition. But it's very, very, very niche. And so the people that are looking it up are just kind of like looking for books and looking for how-to guides. And it's like, that's not really what I do. So not sure if I want to go that direction or not. I liked it. Thought it was really good. Thank you, Jack. I liked it. I had fun. Doing that draw. 3d6 damage. What is that? Is that a... Do they do Pathfinder stuff? Ah. Yeah, I like the Alchemists. Alchemist is a fun class. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, yeah, I could start doing Pathfinder monsters. I think we talked about that, I think, yesterday or so. If I just started doing, like, if I just started doing straight beastry stuff, I could just start with the, like, all the CR1. Who suggested that? Someone suggested that yesterday. Might have been Dalcor. I think it was Dalcor. Just grab all of the CR1 creatures out of the Pathfinder book and just draw all of them. It was like, that's a lot of work, but you know, it could be fun. Hot damn! 18 months. Yes. I need to get some new little emotes. What do we do? What do we do? People are getting close. Sierra's almost at a year on Twitch. Bry's getting close to 2 years on YouTube. We gotta think of something special. We gotta do like an anniversary video or like a draw where they get to decide which monsters to draw or something. How are you doing today, Bry? Hope you're doing well. It is the viewer suggestion. If you have something you'd like to draw, like to see drawn. Anything interesting about a clock, like a Warforged wizard, or like a wizard that makes constructs? Which way would you like to go? Both are possibilities, yeah. I do dislike the Modrons. Jump Rope has the same argument that the D&D is not doing a great job of not expediting lore, but like disseminating lore. They're just not. Pathfinder does a much better job of kind of finding ways to put all of their gods in one place so people can find them. Whereas D&D, everything's just so piecemeal all over the place. It's really hard to have good gathered information, and part of it is because it's not open source, and so like it's not being collected by people either. It's I don't know. The subclass. Clockwork Wizard as a subclass. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. Maybe Corvus knows more about that than I do. See, I'm the opposite of that. I really like the idea that, like, here's a bunch of the lore about goblins. Here's how you make one as a player race. Here's how you use them as monsters. I would love just, like, every time you have a monster manual, it should be, like, 3 pages about goblins, and here's the goblins you can use. 3 pages about, like, fae. Here's 8 fae you can use. I would love that kind of thing. But other people, yeah. If you want it the other way around, where the monster manual is just, like, stats, and then you have to go and find it. It's kind of how it is right now, yeah. That's what it's like. That's currently right. Whereas Pathfinder is a lot more lore heavy, and they even go as far as to go into like the Fiend folios and the, what is the last one I have? NPC codex is really cool because it's like, oh, so you want to have a circus troupe. Here's 15 different monsters that would fit into a circus troupe and some tactics they might use and like different types of circuitry, whether it's like yeah, it just goes into all the specific details. It's really cool. I like those kind of things. They also came out with a book called, where did it go? It's the NPC Codex, and I think it's the Monster Beast Codex? Villain Codex. That's a really good one. Same thing. And then, woo, hello, thank you, Bri. The Pug Gremlin. Oh, yeah, we can draw a Pug Gremlin. Hell yeah. But then Pathfinder also comes out with things like the Occult Adventure, which I really like, which I think is going to be similar to the Witchlight book. I hope they really do that. Where they will just talk about, like, hey, we're adding 2 classes, and here's all the lore surrounding those 2 classes. I like it. I think it's really fun. The Pug Goblins are called, or Gremlins are called, hold on. I just had this. They are called Pugwampy. That's the word. That's what they're called. They're called Pugwampy. Yeah, I'm a little confused. Isn't that what you'd want the Dungeon Master's Guide to be? Like, what else? I guess what content are you missing from the Dungeon Master Guide that you'd like to see in it? Stats. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah. Reading the chat. Ooh, that's loaded. That's a loaded statement. Corvus, this is the closest you're ever going to get me to draw a JoJo character. I'm just putting that out there. Well, you're making me do an illusion wizard, so here we are. I'm going to give you... Oh, God. Potential spam! I have to take this. Hold on. Delta Airline really wants me to participate in their stuff. It's really strange. I don't think I've ever flown Delta or flown in planes very often. How strange. Yeah, I refuse JoJo. I rebuke all that is JoJo. I honestly, I get the pun, and if it was un-JoJo related, I would yell at you. But it is JoJo related. Then I'm gonna yell at you. Knock that shit off. That's not appropriate. All right, there's your JoJo character. We'll make the lines super dark. We'll give him a fancy cape that's just like bellowing his trench coat. And that is the illusory wizard. You know what? We'll give him a ponytail too, because why not? Hot damn. I do want to come back to one of these. Give him the giant pompadour. Gross. Gross. I hate it. I hate it a whole bunch. I'm gonna undo all of this. See how far back I can go. That's about as far as it'll go. Okay, so here's my argument, or not really an argument, but I guess what I would say is the Dungeon Master's Guide, you want to remove all of the lore because it's not enough, right? The Dungeon Master Guide can be bought, and if you have that and a monster manual, you can basically run any campaign that you come up with. I think if that's the problem you're having, I would suggest buying the monster manual and a campaign module. Like, that really sounds like what you want. Is that not what you do, or is that kind of what you're getting closer to? Everyone have fun. No problem, Brian. Sounds like you want to play Pathfinder. Is really what it sounds like. I would highly suggest you look at Pathfinder for all of the things you're describing. Oops. Yeah. Where do you find stats for companions? Jack, if you're looking for companions for D&D, you could very easily... shoot. It's in a book. Yeah, sidekicks. That's what I was looking for. I'm trying to remember the book it's in, though. Is that in... I don't think it is in Tasha's. I don't think it's in Tasha's. It would be under sidekicks and companions. Sidekicks and Tasha's Cauldron is Caution's. So Tasha's. Sidekicks, familiars, and companions. 142 apparently, page 142. Yeah, no. So it sounds really like what you're looking for is Pathfinder, and I would highly suggest looking at the Pathfinder stuff. The books are super good for what you're looking for, where it's just like huge chunks of lore to build stuff with. D&D is specifically built very mechanic light, so that people can just jump into the game, and so you don't really need the Dungeon Master Guide. Yeah. So unfortunately, everything you're talking about is kind of, I think, designed that way on purpose. Which is why I love Pathfinder. Pathfinder is great, and it's way more complicated. It has way more math involved because it allows you to have that kind of fine-tuned abilities. Yeah. Do you have to be a Beastmaster from the Ranger class? Do I have to be a Beastmaster from the Ranger class? No. I mean, companions are... If you want mechanical companions, that's one way to do it. Sorry. If you want companions, the Beastmaster is one way to do it, but you can just hire companions. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just talk to your DM about it. Yeah. Having a familiar, you can get that through a feat. I'm trying to think of other ways. Drake Warden. That's Ranger, though. Drake Warden is Ranger again. Yeah. Artificers get their robots. Alchemists should be able to get the homunculus, but once again, they slammed that into the artificer, which I hate. Yeah. Yeah, it's the only crafting they have is talk to your DM. Yeah. That and yeah, once again, it's simplified. Yeah, so you just need to look at other editions. That's your problem. You just need to just go back to 3.5, go back to 3.5, go back to Pathfinder. All of those are still viable. They're all still viable. You have to know how to convert them. Anything that would give you a +4 gives you advantage. Anything that gives you a +2 doesn't. That's really all it is. 4th edition is fine. It's so weirdly off the cuff that it's harder. It's harder to. It's not. It's like, hey, you want to play World of Warcraft, the board game? Play 4th edition. That's what it is. All right, we're gonna draw this tiny pug. Fifth edition? I guess I don't see these issues. I don't see these as issues because it's on purpose. But maybe that's because I know everything you're asking for, like I said, exists, just not in 5th edition because of the complexity that it adds to the game. 5th edition is not designed for the rule lawyers. Like that, I think I said that earlier. Maybe I said that backwards, but it's designed so that it basically can be thrown at the table and someone can just start playing without having to sit down and read all of the academic books. Pathfinder, you need about 5 books before shit starts making sense. 4th edition, you need all the books. Like 4th edition is just, it's like, I'm going to use my laser guided straight attack axe. And it's like, where the hell is that from? It's like, well, it's part of my sub trait and my mixing it with my template so that my constructed unnatural undeath living creature who is blessed by the goddess. It's like, stop. Just whatever the fuck you're trying to tell me, just stop. Like there's too much crap. And that was the problem with 3rd edition before 3.5 is they're like we're gonna start adding all these cool things, and then in 3.5 it's like, so your time mage can just stop time and win. Neat. And so they basically wrote themselves too much content without being able to put it all together. 5th edition is the overcorrection of that, where they're like, listen, if you want to do something crazy, talk to your DM about it. Here's the bare minimum, the bare minimum to make Dungeons and Dragons work. So I think, yeah. I mean, it's time for a new edition, but it once again, it's going to be backwards compatible, is what I've heard, and I think that's smart. As someone who's lived through 2nd, 3rd, 3.5, Pathfinder 4th edition, everybody gets pissed off when there's a new edition. Every single person. Same thing when Pathfinder 2 came out. Everyone's just like, no, we love Pathfinder though, and it's like, it's not going away. You can still play it. It's still totally fine. We're changing some things so that people who want more of a complex game can have that. That's it. Homebrew, yeah. Yeah, I don't foresee that changing. And really, I think the amount of homebrew that is coming out for 5th edition is a direct sign that the next edition needs to happen. People have outgrown 5th edition. 5th edition was, hey, we need to introduce new people to D&D. They've done that for the last 10 years. And it is now time to up the ante. Whereas Pathfinder basically kind of stagnated because they already had so many rules and they had so much rules that the gameplay itself wasn't changing. And so they're like, okay, 2nd edition, we're going to try some new things. And they're already kind of seeing that, like, things are working, things aren't working, we're going to keep editing it. Like, that's fine. I really do think that it's not a bad thing. I think people are scared because they're like, I spend money on books. And it's like that. I mean, 2nd edition, yeah, same thing happened. The cool thing about that, though, is all those books you have are going to quadruple in price in 5 years. So, yes, you try to buy a 2nd edition advanced D&D guide right now, and it's going to be like $80, $80, $90. But yeah, I wanted to buy. I do not own the. Maybe I do on the Ultimate Combat. Where is it? Ultimate Weapons, I think I don't have. And I'm like, I need to buy that book. And then there's also like a horror monster manual that came out for Pathfinder. And I'm like, I want that book. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, $900. And it's like, fuck. Like, I'm not. Yeah, the little tiny modules are great. I love Pathfinder's little supplements, which is what the community is doing right now on Kickstarter. They're like, 5th edition doesn't have this. I'm going to make it myself. It's like, that's great. Like, that's amazing. Do that. And no, I'm not advising anybody to buy 5th edition books. I am not an advisor. That is not a solid thing. If I know Wizards of the Coast now, they're going to keep producing those books forever. Like, D&D 10 is going to come out, and they're like, oh, here's the new Tasha's Cauldron edition with a felt cover. And it's like, great. Thanks, Wizards. You can buy them in booster packs now. They had a World of Warcraft trading card game. Like, it's just, people jump on money all the time. Yeah, I'm not going to be the one that tells you to buy those. Book addictions are people's own vices. I will never tell you whether or not you should do that. Yeah, you can maybe they'll release that. That's what you wanted. It's happening. Can someone post a picture of a pug in the Discord? Yeah, I don't want this to sound like I'm shitting on what you want out of the game, right? Because like I have no control over it. 1, 2, I think your gripe is not unfounded and it's not unique. I think people absolutely have the same argument as you. My only real advice is check out Pathfinder. It's fun and it's D&D 3.5. Cleaned up and more complicated than 5th edition. That's really what it is. And if you really like that, check out 3.5. If you have a lot of cool ideas that you want to do, like I want to build my own robot character, it's like 3.5 has that. Pathfinder has that. Just Google it. Like, don't be scared to try to convert something from a different thing into 5th edition because they intended that. And especially with crafting, that was their original intent. It's like, listen, we already made all of these different rules for crafting, and there's like 5 different versions. If you want to put crafting into your games, go pick one of those and make sure it works for your game. Because they wanted the DMs to have that freedom without a book saying this is exactly how it is, because that's what broke 3.5 is people being like, but see, I can buy one of these magical items that allow me to teleport through time, and it's like, fuck, why did we put that in the book? There was a lot of that, a lot of really broken stuff because they tried to put everything down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have one of my older edition books is worth like $300 or $400. It's like, that's awesome. I'm never gonna sell it. Like, it effectively has no value because I'm not gonna sell that book. Rah! He's a goblin. It's a pug goblin. What is it called? I just had it. It's like a pugwami or something. Pugwampi. I need to make him more potato. Yeah, but like, can we talk about the Minotaur for a minute? He has a name. He is the man bull. It's like rude. 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 No, that's his real name. That is the name of the character. No one refers to it. It's like Frankenstein's monster, right? Well, that is its name. That's what I'm saying. Intelligence is knowing that knowing that Frankenstein was the doctor, not the monster. And then knowing that wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein was the monster. And it's like, oh, my brain. My brain. Yep. Oh, it's a super slow book. Yeah. They spend like 5 chapters just sitting next to a pond. We don't talk about Lord of the Rings on this channel. because you're baiting us. And that's what everybody does. I love Lord of the Rings. I listened to Lord of the Rings last month. I listened to all 3 of the books on an audiobook. Yeah. Yep. And it breaks down into an argument of everybody talking about how much they love it. And it's like, let's just stop. Let's just not talk about it. That being said, I cannot get into the Silmarillion. I've tried so hard, so many times. I use it as a sleep aid because I turn it on and I instantly fall asleep. Yeah, no, it's a compilation of his. Yep. He wanted to fill the lore. I mean, it's the truth. He Okay. I didn't even catch it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that until now. No, it's just it's a soft rule. Like Lord of the Rings is great. I just most of the time when you start a conversation with, okay, I have to know, what do you think about Lord of the Rings? It's like I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there. Yep. The fact that you had to just start that sentence with, well, I was baiting it. That's why we don't talk about it. And now we're back into the conversation. So oh, sure, yeah. With Vorpal swords. I mean, that was the high fantasy that people were going for when they started. Yeah. Like, you want a weird psychedelic adventure? Your options are fight lizard people in the center of the earth, fall down a rabbit hole, or go into a broom closet and fight a bunch of lions. Like, that was it. So Lord of the Rings was I want to say one of the most it had its own universe that wasn't just like our universe, right? Because all those other ones are like humans, and then you fall into something. Whereas Lord of the Rings was just like, here's a world that exists full of fantasy. And it's like, that's awesome, let's do that. Like, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely still has historical fantasy too. Like, definitely has its roots in that. Which that's what Greyhawk was, right? Like, Greyhawk was mostly Dragonlance, yeah, it was mostly just medieval fantasy, and they're like, what if magic and elves, though? And it's like, okay, and then that's D&D, you know? Okay, here's our fuzzy pug gremlin. It's Pugby. Pugby's a gremlin, apparently. One character I'll be playing soon for Halloween in one shot is a werebat, chaotic evil serial killer. So Man-Bat, nice. I like it. That's really cool. I always like a good. Well, Man-Bat is Man-Bat. Man-Bat it's a DC villain. He's basically the lizard from Spider-Man, but a bat. Like, it's almost identical. Well, Killer Croc is awesome. King Shark, yeah, Killer Croc, King Shark, and Man-Bat are basically just like, what if creature but legs? And they're like, do it. Kind of. Yeah. A little bit of Victorian era. What's this? No, Victorian bat. Yeah, no, Man-Bat's great. They even put him in the original, not the original bat, but the. Well, yeah, he was in Batman animated series, but he was also in the. Yeah, I mean that. So the big thing about Man-Bat is that people see Man-Bat, and Man-Bat drinks people's blood, and they're like, "Oh shit, Batman's killing people now," and it's like, no, it's not the same person. That's the whole trope, right? And so in the Batman movie with Tim Burton, I think it's just called Batman. They show a picture of Batman in a suit, but it's a bat, and I'm like, it's Man-Bat. Funny. Dr. Random, how are you? I remembered you're on YouTube for once. Awesome. How's your day going today? Pretty good. We just finished drawing a pug gremlin. I cannot... Yeah, we're on YouTube today. If you have something you'd like to see drawn, we're still taking suggestions for another 30 minutes. Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, Batman the Animated Series is great. Yep, Mark Hamill is the iconic Joker for a long time. He was also the, what is it, the Quizler? Shoot. No, not the Riddler. Damn it. Someone look up Mark Hamill Batman villains. Like he actually played this in real life. Mark Hamill Batman villains. The Joker, Fire Lord, Trickster. The Trickster. There we go. Oh yeah. I don't know if people knew that there was a Flash TV show in the '90s where Mark Hamill played the Trickster. I posted a picture for you. You're welcome for the 90s, I guess, with the Flash having that sweet velour suit. Yeah. Copy image. Yeah, he played Skeletor. Who's he? What's he? Come on, it's Skeletor, man. He also reprised the role of the Trickster in the new Flash series, which was funny. I thought was funny. While we're on the topic, Fantasy Alchemist Scarecrow is always fun. Yeah, Scarecrow is a great build for D&D. I just wish Alchemy was better in 5th edition. Definitely check out the Pathfinder Alchemist. Super fun class. Half-Elves Bard based on water with purpose. Alright, half. Say that again. Yeah. The Artificer. You didn't need that. Yeah, I mean, the Gunslinger's been out forever. The Percy... Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. The Mesmerist, I think. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like that's the big issue with 5th edition, I think. I mean, so
third and fourth edition was so rampant with magic that they basically, to simplify everything, they're like, oh, none of that shit works because, you know, that was in the Age of Arcanum or whatever the hell they were doing. And it's like, okay, fine. Like, that's fine. What is a Mister? Oh, Mistra. Yes, that's why Mistra was born. I remember.
So this is a hot take. I remember when 5th edition came out, and we were all pissed off because all wizards were sorcerers all of a sudden, because spell slots were a thing, and it's like, this is fucking bullshit. You can't just give everybody spell slots. That just makes them all sorcerers. Why would I ever be a fucking wizard? And for a long time, wizards were terrible. Like, it was not great. That's what people say. That is what people say. Oh man, I fucking love that guy's art. It's so complicated. I want that. I want to be that. I want to be that so bad.
Yeah, he's the primary concept artist for Paizo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a big thing with when Paizo was made from a bunch of guys that used to work for the older editions, because they wanted to kind of take it, and I think that's one of the reasons that I'm guessing, because I don't know, this is all speculation, that the reason they went from the 3.5 going to open source was that them being an argument of like, this is the stuff we made, we want to use some of it, and so that was kind of the
So they lost, they basically gave up the rights to making more money off of it by throwing it in the open source universe, but then because of that they could produce their own new content based off of it, which is cool. Yeah. Yep. I can talk about that for hours, but I'm trying to talk less about money on this channel, so I think I will not talk about it. It's better than it used to be. It's still not great. What's your gripe with what's your gripe with it? That's the real question. It's intentionally simplified. As intended. As intended. That's a very... Go ahead. Finish your thought. Yep. Check out 3.5 and Pathfinder. Prepared spell users. They do. That's how they learn magic, through their levels. This is the thing that I struggle with a lot with Jace. I'm gonna yell at Jace.
Wizards just learning spells every time they level up used to not be the case. Right, and that was the thing. Like, you have access to every spell that ever existed, but you have to learn it. Whereas sorcerers have a very, very constricted spell list based on what they pick, and they have basically free use of magic. Right, that was the original thought. And so wizards then, well, my YouTube is broken. No, that sucks. Yeah, we're losing. We have 3 people watching YouTube, so we're probably about done today. Yeah, like that was basically when you level up and you learn a new spell, it's through your study of magic, right? And people don't flavor it that way. They're just like, oh, I leveled up, I instantly learned 5 spells. It's like, have you been studying those spells? Like, where did those spells come from? And that's just, one, there's not a lot of downtime in a lot of people's games because downtime is usually boring. And that is what they realized, and that's why 5th edition doesn't have crafting. The downtime is kind of, hey, remember to give your players downtime to do stuff. Because 3.5 and 4th edition specifically was like, okay, so you're going to give your players a year and a half of downtime, let them figure out what they want to do and build magical items, take feats so that they can craft potions, and Pathfinder is still really bad about this. It's like, if you want to craft a weapon for a paladin, you have to have 4 different feats. You have to craft magical item, craft magical weapon, craft sacred objects, and I guess you only need the 3. Oh, but then depending on what enchantment you want to do, you might need to be a wizard. So you might have to take something just so you can learn magical spells. Because wizards can use scrolls and wands. Sorcerers cannot innately. I think they can use wands. I don't think they can read magic innately. So that's the difference, right? And I think they kind of tried to do that with 5th edition with the ritual casting. Like, I can read and understand magic spells that are just in a book. Like, I don't have to memorize this. This isn't innate. I can do that. But since everybody can grab it with a feat now, it just doesn't fucking matter. So, yeah. Oversimplification of a weird system. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, you're technically paying for the spell to be cast, which is actually cheap. Everybody's used to video games where it's like, hey, go and I'd like to buy 1,000 magic potions, please. It's like someone has to spend one of their spell slots that day to craft that potion. So that's effectively the cost of a day's work, plus the materials to do that. That is the lore. That's how 3.5 Pathfinder all the way back to 2nd edition worked. And so they kind of did something weird with the alchemy kit, right? It's like, oh, maybe you can brew a healing potion. Cool. You just need to have the stuff to make it. And they've muddled that gray area of, is magic or is magic just knowing how berries work? Which is why I argue that Strider is a fucking is a wizard. So it's a gray area, and that's really what 5th edition is they left a lot of things up to interpretation of your DM so that they could do that kind of stuff. I can make a potion with some dirt and a bug. It shouldn't cost 50 gold. It's like, are you making it with dirt and bug? Because if so, yeah, I'm not going to charge you 50 gold for that. Now, do you need 50 gold worth of bug? Maybe. Maybe that's how that works. Can you simplify air combat so I don't throw my books into a fireball? Use the non-Euclidean geometry. I'm serious. If anything is within 30 feet of you in any direction, they're within 30 feet of you. Just use that. It simplifies air combat. Lickety split. Yeah. It's like, I don't care how high you are. If you're within 30 feet of me, you're within 30 feet of me, and that's fine. It sucks when when a character's like, I fly 90 feet in the air and pull out my bow. It's like, the orc can still attack you. It's like, man, I'm 90 feet up. It's like, I don't give a shit. Like, you're 30. Yeah. You're within 30 visual feet of this person. They're going to shoot you with the bow. You have it one way or the other. You can't have it both ways. So. Yep. I really don't like using the non-Euclidean geometry. I don't mind doing the math. I will fast and loosed it, though. Like, let's see, you're 30 feet this way and like 100 feet up. I don't know. It's just we'll ballpark it. I'm not gonna get. Yeah, it's like if somewhere between 30 and 120 feet. Like let's go, or yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. Fast and loose. Yep. Math Finder. Yeah, what the fuck are you playing 5th edition for? Get out of here. Yeah, see, I went to college and I learned how to play D&D with like a whole bunch of potheads and biology students. So it's like we don't like the math, but also we have some really weird ideas, and it's like, oh no. Yep, I'm gonna play a horse. Polar bear monk, yep. If that wasn't like only allowed because of a marijuana addiction, I would not be surprised. Yep. Tell you what, I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna call it. I think we're done today. Also, just as a side note, I did not partake in said things while I played D&D. Because if you come to my D&D table inebriated, I get very upset. Don't do that to your TMs unless everyone's cool with it. But I think we're done for the day. I think we're kind of winding down. I'm gonna go ahead and send you a link to the Pathfinder SRD because it's amazing. I need to get some work done, so I will probably be on Twitch in 30 minutes or so. I'm gonna go get some lunch, hang out for a little bit, and then I'm gonna work on a commission for the rest of the day. So if people want to hang out with me over there, very cool. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Stay happy, stay healthy, keep your dice on the table, and hopefully we'll see you Friday for the premiere. Hopefully 10 o'clock. Let's do that. So 10 a.m. Yeah. PST. Bye, everybody. Bye.